so especially after this long pandemic, that we can all be here. It's surreal.
Yeah, I'm just happy that the interview is in Portland and I don't gotta use my living room studio.
Yeah, it's nice to be together, right?
Yeah, because I built a studio in my living room.
Really?
Yeah, and I've been working constantly for the last 7, however long.
Very long.
And I have lights and mics and, the whole shebang set up in the middle of the living room.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little about this show?
Sure. Songs for a New World, it's actually 25 or so years old, but it feels as fresh and relevant as it ever did. It's a show, it's sort of like a song cycle, which is a phrase that scares a lot of people off, and it shouldn't. It's a show without like a linear plot, but it has 4 actors in it, and the 4 of us play characters that have themes that sort of travel throughout the entire musical, right? So like, Mia has several songs that aren't necessarily the same person singing them, but there are themes that you can kind of track and trace. And really what it's all about, the kind of tie that binds us, is these 4 characters that have all come to a moment in their lives where they have to make a decision, right? Everything is changing, and you've got to either change with it or fight against it or push through it or find a way to get to the next thing, which I don't know for you, but for me that sounds very familiar with this moment in all of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you get the job, Mia?
That's a great question. Well, I actually had a breakthrough case of COVID, and I was on the couch. I had found out I was a part of the cast of West Side Story on Broadway, and we got our closing notice that day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel terrible this just happened, and it obviously has come out of such a wild period, but the next day I got a call. It said, are you available to do Songs for New World at Paper Mill Playhouse? And I said, are you sure? Like, you're calling me? And so because I was sick, there was this kind of like, whoa, I can't believe that it was like a door had opened, especially with this piece in and of itself, because like Andrew said so well, it's this show about, a new beginning in a way, and like how do you move forward after everything that's just happened. And I think we felt that during the pandemic, like this moment that everything changed. But also now we're in a new moment of now where do we go? How do we move forward? And I think we're working on that together, and it being our first real thing back, I think it really resonates. So yeah, they called me and I said, absolutely, I'll be there.
Who were you playing in West Side Story?
I was understudying Maria.
Oh.
So I got to make my Broadway debut right before the shutdown and did, I think, 10 or 9 performances.
Did that show reopen?
No, unfortunately it closed, but I'm so thankful to have gone on. And again, as I was walking to the theater to clear out my dressing room, I was listening to the opening to this, which is all about, again, the one moment. And my character, Woman 1 specifically, is very hopeful and ready for this next chapter. And I thought, gosh, it was very symbolic, both the music and the moment in my life.
Isaac Powell is so good. I love Isaac Powell.
Yeah, Isaac's really talented.
Yeah.
So good.
But now she's with me. Just as good, different way.
You always get good leading.
Well, that's kind of you.
Yeah. Is it what you wanted to do, or you're like, Mia?
I mean, I didn't think it was possible because both my parents were dentists, and I thought, well, I guess I'll be a dermatologist or a pediatrician, something medical. And my grandmother was the one to say, you can do anything you want. And that kind of started to get the wheels turning. And I saw my first show ever had like star curtains. And I turned to my mom and said, I want to be in a star show. So I sent her a photo, because in Christmas Lullaby, in this show, I have this star background. And I said, look, Mom, I'm in a star show. It's so corny how it comes full circle. But I I became obsessed with it from the moment I got on stage, and I would hope it could make a career. So I'm glad they still have me. I mean, it's really a dream.
Yeah, that's what happened to Alan Menken.
Yeah.
He came from like 20 dentists, and they said, "Oh, you're gonna be a dentist."
Sure.
And he thought that he was gonna be a dentist.
Yeah, nice work if you can get it.
Oh yeah, right.
Sure.
More stable.
That's the next show he's doing.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you could do anything else other than this, what would it be?
What you mean? Any acting?
Like another job?
A different job? or
No, any career.
Different job.
I'd be a pilot. All my hobbies tend to be, so much of what we do as actors is very like, how did that feel? And like, that's fine. But all of my hobbies tend to be things that are much more like black and white and pragmatic. And so I've been sort of slowly over the years working on getting my pilot's license, because that's all very like right and wrong and math and
What
like that
are
stuff.
your hobbies?
Well, I'm learning to fly planes. I like Legos. I do. Well, we were just talking about it backstage. I like playing with Legos. I have a 5-year-old son and a new baby daughter, and so my biggest hobby is making sure that they're both alive continually. That's a big part of it, is just keeping them alive and healthy. But yeah, I mean, I like the stuff that I like tends to be rooted much more in like logic and reason, and so like I really like flying planes, because if you don't do it right, you're really going to be in trouble. So I think if I was going to do something else, I would be very happy as a pilot.
What about you, Mia?
I feel differently in the sense that everything I'm drawn to, I love to cook and bake. I had this idea to have this like little bakery called Miss Cutie Pie Mia's Pies, or something stupid like that. And not stupid, but you have like mini pies. I love pottery, but I also I really could see myself teaching. Like if the whole performance thing didn't work out, I have actually taught students online through the pandemic, which was really fun, and I could see myself, teaching yoga or acting for performers or non-performers. I think there's something really interesting that what we do, we get to express ourselves in a way that maybe not everyone can, and through acting classes and improv classes and really digging into ourselves, I think there's something there for literally any human. So I kind of have this idea that someday maybe I'll be like 60-something and I'll be like, oh, this whole theater thing, I'm done with it, and just really use what I've learned and grown in the theater with, but give it to people who, have, as we say, muggle jobs, normal jobs.
Yeah. Is there anything else coming up for you? Like what your next job?
Man, I don't know. I'll tell you what. It's a strange moment right now for the industry, because it feels like for us to get to all the next stuff, everything from last spring has to kind of come back first and get that normaled out. Mia was in a show that's not returning. I was about to start rehearsals for a show that's not returning. So those of us that weren't in a show that's coming back are sort of like, I don't think it ever even got announced. I was going to start rehearsals last April for a play. It was a talkie. And I didn't get to do it. So my point is that those of us that are not in shows that have returned are sort of like waiting for the new crop of shows to start happening.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, hopefully something very new and very exciting very soon.
And how come, Mia, what about you?
I literally this morning went to the stage manager and was saying, people will say, so what's up next? I'm like, catering, if they'll have me.
Yeah.
So I sent my email to the catering company already, because this ends in 2 weeks. But no, I mean, there's, we keep busy sometimes if there's not a show, with little workshops and concerts. And so that's hopefully the next little bit of time, but just auditioning. I mean, I really think that our job, they always say the work is the cherry on top, and most of the job is auditioning. And so the hope is that something kind of falls into place like this did so beautifully, for at least I know for me. but it's part of the business, you know, that we go from, you can have an amazing job. I remember my professor said he watched someone win a Tony Award and the next week was in the unemployment line.
Oh, sure.
And it's just part of the industry, and I think it's part of the resilience of our community. And like Andrew said, because of COVID, we're in a really interesting time. And even all auditions, most all of them have been online over Zoom or self-tape. So it's starting to come back though. So keep your fingers crossed for all of us.
Where can we find you, like on Facebook or?
Well, yes, you can find me on Instagram at Mia Pinero, just my full name. I have a website, miapinero.com. I have a Twitter, Mia Pinero. It's basically, I tried to keep it really easy, so it's all Mia Pinero. Yeah, you can find it through Google, and I'm also on Facebook.
I'm at Mia Pinero fan. At Mia Pinero fan. Alphabet.
Underscore.
Yeah, like no, I'm at Andrew Kolber on all the things. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm on the other ones. At Andrew Kolber.
Thank you for doing this, and we'll see you next time.
Okay,
Bye.
That's
Bye.
the way
Thanks for
Jess
having us.
says.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.